St. Bridget's.
St. Bridget's, okay. And you flunked the 4th grade?
Yes.
Oh.
They wanted to hold me back.
Yeah.
And my father and my mother, my son? My son?
Did you have to pay indulgences to get out so that you?
Anyhow, my father said, you know, enough of these school with nuns. I don't want any more nuns for him. I want him to have men as teachers. So that led to taking me to St. Joseph's, where we had brothers. And looking back on it, it was the worst mistake they ever made.
Oh, really?
Oh, the nuns, St. Bridget's was one of the best schools in the city. I was taken out of there. They wanted me to repeat the 4th grade.
Did you repeat it then, and you just went back at St. Joseph's?
No, I had to go to I went to St. Joseph's, and I repeated it there.
Okay.
And of course, I looked very good there. My mother saw I was getting good grades, but you know, she didn't understand the significance of it there. And my father wasn't that, although my father did have a decent education.
Was St. Bridget's on Franklin Streets?
St. Bridget's.
Was Franklin and Broadway?
That's right. That's where it was. Yeah, I like that. See, that's why I would like to have this tutoring.
I know.
this guy really, and that guy, they convinced me.
That's actually a really old school, St. Bridget's.
It is an old school, yes.
Yeah,
Is it 89 years old, like Grandpa?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, I think it's like
easily, yeah.
It might be in the hundreds.
89?
No, he's 89.
Oh,
No, you're still a spring chicken.
I thought you were supposed to get 2 years on me. I was say, wait a
We
minute,
don't, we don't talk
soon
about
enough.
her, you know. She had all those sisters taking care of her.
Yes.
This is your old elementary school right here.
I don't have any glass. That doesn't look.
So it says St. Bridget's right here. It's a big 4-story
Here,
school.
I'll hold it.
I don't have my glasses on,
Oh.
so I'm somewhat a handicap. But I know there was only one St. Bridget's up there. And you know.
And where was St. Joseph's? Do you know where St. Joseph's was, Jay?
No, we'll check it out right now.
I don't know if it exists.
It went out with the brothers.
Yeah, the brothers.
But it was still a Catholic school, right?
Oh yes.
Of course, there's nothing other.
Yeah.
Not with your mother and father, or your
Well,
mother. Your
they-
father wasn't really
No,
a church guy.
he didn't appreciate it, but you know, what are you going to do? And I can't. I don't blame him.
So did you? Your best friend Cooper.
Cooper.
Yeah, your best friend growing up was named Cooper. Remember?
Arnold Cooper. Yes.
I thought his first name was Cooper, but it was
Well,
Arnold.
no. I had a friend, a very good close friend who lived down the street from me on Hyde Street.
Okay.
His name was Arnold Cooper.
Okay.
And
So he didn't go. You didn't meet him at school.
No school. I met him at school later on.
Okay.
What grade was this?
What grade? When was it that you were on Hyde Street that Cooper was your best friend, or Arnold Cooper?
Well, to bring it out, we went. Well, let me go back. I went to St. Bridget's or to St. And we had brothers there, and they were mean men, old men, and there was corporal punishment, and real corporal. Now St. Joseph's catered to the flunk outs from other Catholic schools.
Okay.
From other Catholic
So
schools.
since you didn't do well in the 4th grade.
Yeah, I was subjected
He's happy
to
that he was a C student.
And then,
C is good degrees.
yeah, and then we went and St. Bridget's there, or St. Joseph's, and these were men. At the time I didn't realize it, but they were disturbed young men, and there was corporal punishment there. I heard you're cough. You're doing something, you know. Put out your hand.
And then
Yeah, like that. And then he had this big
ruler?
piece of wood, and if you whack, you know, and if you pull it away, it's double.
It's done. Done for nothing.
Yeah,
How many times were you hit?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I
okay.
have no idea. It was corporal punishment. It was horrible. It was
Wow.
it was illegal too.
Wow.
Even in the school
At that time.
to do that at that time. But anyhow, I didn't know any of that stuff. So you put your hand out and you now you cry, and I'm going to double it.
Oh no.
That was the Brothers of Mary, and I still hate them.
Wow.
I still
That's
hate
crazy. I didn't know this story.
them. No, well, it's not something to
Yeah.
be proud of.
So you went there for 4th, 5th, and 6th grade?
I had to repeat the 4th grade,
Yeah.
6th grade, 7th,
Okay,
and then I was out.
Okay, so then in 8th grade you went to the high school.
Then I went to St. Ignatius, and that was light and day.
Oh, St.
Okay.
Ignatius.
The difference
Oh, that's
between
cool.
the schools.
Gym by there.
Yeah.
The only thing is, because of the terrible grammar school I went to, I wasn't fit to go to St. Ignatius.
Yeah.
I wasn't fit for that. I was a poor reader, and she's not listening to it, and I don't want her to listen to it. I was a poor reader.
Oh, I still am too.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. Nothing's
You
changed.
fit in just fine. Now you guys know who we all get it from.
Yeah.
So
You're not a poor reader.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Really?
very
So
much
St.
so. I
Ignatius
had
was
terrible
difficult
retention.
for me, but I was there 1 year, and I flunked Latin there, which I don't hold myself responsible for.
Let's laugh.
The language of the Catholic Church.
Well, it's an ancient language.
Yeah, it's an ancient language.
That the Catholic Church adopted,
Yeah.
And I couldn't see any benefits in getting it. And then years later, I realized what an important language it was. It helps you with your English and everything. I'm a great believer in it. If I had it to go over and Latin was available, I would be. Anyhow, I went to the Jesuits, and the Jesuits were the top of the line. I went from the bottom to the top of the line. Not good, but I did hold my own at St. Ignatius. I did graduate. I didn't graduate from it, but I got through the 1st grade.
The first year.
But
You
now,
went there for 2 or 3 years.
1 year.
Just 1 year.
Just 1
Okay.
year, that's all. Because during that 1 year, the United States went to war. Pearl Harbor came in. Now, my father, where are we going to go from here? And you have young sons. There's no options. You're going off to war.
Yeah.
Now, which war do you want to go? How do you want to go? And then I found out when I was 15, I couldn't get into the Navy.
Of course not.
No.
You were 15 years old.
I was, no, they took us in at 15, no.
No
I
way.
was 18, no, 18.
18.
18, excuse me, you're right.
Yeah.
18, and I couldn't get in. But the Army would take me. So
Why?
he said-
Was
he
just
said,
your-
let's go to the Merchant Marine.
Why couldn't you get into the Navy? Was it just
we
your?
have more than we need.
Ah.
Everybody wanted to get into the Navy.
Okay.
You go to the Army. You know,
Of course.
We'll send you over there to the
They
front
want you to
line.
be the grunt. Yeah. Yeah. No. That's what my friends did.
Yeah.
That's hell.
And
Screw that.
So I got into the Merchant Marine, and then, oh, well.
What was your first job on the Merchant Marines? Do you remember?
Thank you.
I was well, let me back up again. I'll give you a little, there was an interlude there. I was in the community, the high school there, and I knew I didn't flunk out of the high school. I had to repeat the history, not the history, but the Latin.
Yeah.
And so my father said no. He pulled me out of there, and he sent me to a coaching school to go to the Maritime Academy.
Oh.
I don't think I ever told her.
No, this
I'm
is
telling
interesting.
something that I've never. I don't think she knows. The Maritime Academy, and this was a private school, and you went there. You told them if you wanted to get into the Maritime Academy, you wanted to get to the Naval Academy or the Army Academy.
What is the Maritime?
The Maritime Academy.
Is that for the Merchant Marines?
Yeah.
That's for the Merchant Marines.
California Maritime Academy.
Okay.
Just, that's right there at Benicia.
Okay.
Yeah, it's over there. So.
And you were a part of this?
Well, we mentioned I wanted to get to the Maritime Academy. Okay, come on in. And I went to this school. Drew's School was the name of it. I almost forgot it. Drew's School, and it was excellent. This was, after I think of my grammar school teachings, which was nothing, and St. Bridget's was okay, but this Drew's School was, boy.
And it was over in Benicia?
No, in San Francisco.
It was in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I was put into a class. They took me on, and they took me into a class, and all the people in there, their fathers were generals or admirals or people like that, and they wanted their son to go.
Yeah.
They didn't want them to go into the military. They wanted them to go to the academy.
Yeah.
So there were no one wanted their son to go to get the Merchant Marine. No.
Yeah.
I went in on that, and there's a room, and it was a fantastic school. It was a fantastic school. They knew what the entrance exams were all about, and they coached you to that. They coached you to that, and I didn't realize that at the time, but they knew.
So they set you up for success.
So the woman who ran it, and was very much in my life, her name was Miss Fish.
Miss Fish.
Yes, and I'll never forget her. She was wonderful. She was a woman in her 50s. She was a pro of pros. And she knew how to handle us. And she had about 40 students that she was responsible for in this big room that they had. So, but if you wanted, and then the mothers would come in to find out how their child was doing. But these kids their fathers were high-ranking officers.
Yeah.
They were in, but they had 2 tests to pass. They had to get a commendation from a senator or a
Congressman?
congressman.
Uh-huh.
You have to have that. If you don't have that, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
They would come in, and so she would coach the mother. Now the senator or the congressman is up for an election. Could you go and participate in his election deal? And so she got these mothers to go and participate. Oh, yes. I wasn't supposed to hear that.
Yeah.
She would talk to them, and it was a confidential conversation, but she would tell them that you have to do that.
I think we're in
and
trouble.
and this and tell them politically, if you have to change your party, we'll do that too. And then I'll take care of the examination. But
Very nice.
so she Miss Fish, she was a woman in her 50s. She's long gone, of course, now. And
But it's so special that you still remember her and
oh,
remember
I'll never forget
and
that
remember
woman.
the impact she had on you,
Oh,
right?
yeah. So she got me through the entrance exam. To the,
Yeah. The Maritime.
and then when I got to the academy, I was dealing with people that had college at the college level,
Yeah.
and they were older than me, and they were much brighter than I was, and so I was, but on some things. What came to the practical side of seamanship and something, I was better than they were.
Yeah.
And I knew I knew seamanship, which would be things like painting and
Yeah.
and things like that. So
So you went to St. Ignatius only 1 year, and then you
1
went to
year.
the Maritime Academy for a couple years,
no,
and then you went into the Merchant Marines.
I went to the Maritime Academy 1 year.
Just 1
and
year.
And then it came to, I had to have a knowledge of, and I forget what that subject was that you took and Pat was quite good at.
Computers?
Oh,
Yeah.
God, no. That
Yeah, I was
word
gonna
came
say you
out.
didn't know that word then.
Oh, no. And anyhow,
Because I know you didn't graduate from high school.
No,
You went
no.
to the Merchant Marines, and
Yeah.
then you later took your GED to get your high school diploma.
after the war,
After the war, yeah.
yeah.
Is that it?
But, what was
So you did 2 years in high school, Dad, or did you
what?
do 3? How many years in high school did you do before you left?
3.
You did 3.
3.
Okay, so one at St. Ignatius
No,
and then
no, excuse me, 2.
2. Okay.
Two at St. Ignatius. No, one, I'm gonna go back, 1 full year at St.
St.
Ignatius.
Ignatius,
Then after that, they put me in these,
the Maritime.
yeah, these teaching schools.
Yeah.
And that's where I had no high school
Yeah.
remembrance
And
or
then,
anything like
yeah,
that.
and then you were there like a year, and then you went into the Merchant Marines.
Then I went to the academy, and of course,
Uh-huh.
I didn't have the background for it.
Uh,
I found there was a couple of things I didn't have aptitude for, like one, which my father, he was a man on dots and dashes.
Dots and dashes,
Yes,
yeah.
he was
Radio.
a radio operator on merchant ships during World War II. And I couldn't fit in on that.
Yeah, because that was all. Grandpa did all like Morse code.
Morse code.
Yeah.
I couldn't think
Yeah.
of I couldn't think the name.
My grandfather, his dad.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
and he was.
He was actually very, very bright. He would build his
he-
own radios.
He was a bright guy. Yeah.
So he's an engineer.
Yeah, they didn't.
No, he was.
They didn't have
you know,
engineers.
Not by
back then.
education,
No,
but by
right.
he would have been an engineer.
He would have been. He
Electrical
would.
engineers.
And
Yeah.
I trace that back to Alan today.
Yeah.
That was a direct route, and I didn't realize that until recent years.
Yeah.
His aptitude for when he decided to listen in on his sister's telephone calls, how to tap the telephone.
Yes, that was
I
Alan.
showed him. Boy, were they furious! They were furious. I told that to a couple of the old ladies where I live, and they said, "Oh, I imagine that I'd be furious too." Oh, they were.
Started the USA.
That was mainly
I don't
with
think I
Alice.
ever shared
Poor
that
Alice.
with you.
No, I remember that.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a.
Poor Alice had the brunt of Alan.
I don't know if Alice ever forgave him.
She does now, but I mean they're very.
Oh,
They're nice. They're very close now. But yeah, but at that time they were not.
No.
Yeah. So, and then you went to the Merchant Marines, and then when you came back, you had to take your GED in
Yeah.
order to go ahead and get your
Start.
high school diploma and to get into college.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And then you graduated from Golden Gate.
Yes, yeah. I don't know if it.
Well, you went to
that-
San Mateo. You went to what colleges did you go to? You went to San Mateo Junior
I
College,
went to San Francisco State.
and then
And that's where I got my high school diploma. And then we moved to San Mateo.
Uh-huh.
And that's where I met the love of my life. The love of my life. She was an A student.
yes.
Guys hated her because they see her walk. Yeah, you walk in the door, they know that you're an A, and they wanted to go to Stanford.
Yes.
And Stanford, if you got they downgrade. If you got an A at the community college, they would say that, well, that's the same as a C.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. So they did not like Mom, huh?
No.
Because we all knew that Mom was going to get the A.
Oh, yeah.
She would set the curve.
Yeah.
Yes. And so you said, I won't take any classes with her, but she could help me.
Not at that, that sort of came about, yeah. No, she never helped me in a class. She helped me on job afterwards maybe, but she was pretty much, but I said, I want to marry a woman who's an A student, and so I'll have smart kids. God, it worked. No, it worked.
No, you always had common sense, though, and you know what? That's something that they can't teach.
I think I do. Yeah, I think
you
I
do. You have just worldly and common sense, and so that's and you can't learn that in a school.
That's what I have.
Yeah.
Street smarts.
Yeah.
You know how to survive.
Yeah.
You go to house.
Yeah.
Think about
Don't
that.
knock it. It's really, it's a real thing.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. It's actually more important. It's actually
well,
more
it worked
important.
out for me, didn't
Higher
it?
IQ. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, between being book smart and, practical and street smart, as Justin calls it, street smart goes hands down.
Yeah.
Well, she learned, what do you call that, fast?
I think
Shorthand.
Shorthand. Before she was in high school,
Yeah.
I think, or certainly when she was in high school.
Yeah.
She had all of that. Well, that's a tremendous advantage. The
Oh,
guy
yeah.
gets up and he gives a little talk about this or that, and you can sit there, and take it down verbatim.
Yeah.
And that was her strong part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mom,
Whereas-
how did you learn shorthand? How did you learn shorthand?
I learned it in high school.
Was it a class that you took?
Yeah, it was a good class.
Okay, and they just what was it called? American shorthand or something? There's different kinds of shorthand. Was it It was American shorthand. Okay. Yes.
Not unfair.
Yes. What a life, Dad! And just think, from the St. What we say, St. Bridget's or something, to where you ended up today. I wonder how many other people you went to school with back then that were as successful in life
Well,
as you were, as you are. And success isn't, measured by your A's and B's and, in your case, your C's and D's. But, that's not success. It's about how you've applied your life and how you've lived your life.
the people from St. Joseph's, I have no contact with. They were mostly Mexicans there
Oh,
in the class. St. Joseph's was in the very poor part of San Francisco.
okay.
3rd and Howard Street. That rings a bell with you.
yeah, how a little bit.
And
How a little bit.
these were poor Mexicans, and there were these other people from other schools. My best friend there, his father was a judge, and so forth. They were there also, but they didn't do too well in grammar school.
Okay.
So they sent them down to, and I want the brothers to take care of him, you know.
Yay. Thank you.
And then in high school, then at St. Ignatius, I was only there 1 year,
Yeah,
so I didn't make any connections
yeah.
with them. Except,
Well, this all started with your story about what you used to always tell me his name was Cooper. So that was his last name.
He lived down the street from me.
Yeah, but his name is Arnold. Arnold Cooper.
Arnold Cooper,
I
yeah.
thought his first name was Cooper.
No, Arnold Cooper.
And
yeah.
so he was just your
I met him at Drew's school.
Drew's school?
Well, in between all of this, I was at Drew's school.
okay.
And I met him there.
Yeah.
And Arnold was he was a very bright guy. He and I were not in the same class. It came to that, and we had similar backgrounds. We were Catholic backgrounds, and then he wanted to be an Army officer. To show you this guy, he wanted to be an Army officer, and the war was going well on the side of the Allies there. He was afraid the war was going to end before he could get into it. So he wrote a letter to the commandant in San Francisco. He wrote a nice letter.
Yeah.
He was a good writer, which I was not. And the commandant wrote, seeing the situation there, he wrote back to him a nice letter saying that you could do your country the most by staying in school and graduating, and then join the Navy, the Army.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that wasn't good enough, but anyhow, he did join I got into the Maritime Academy, and he got into the Army, basically. And I don't know if he got a commission or not, but the thing that he wanted to be a psychologist.
Jason.
And I haven't heard from him for many, way before I met Jenny.
How old were you when you moved into 1401 Hyde? You were still in grammar school?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then you lived there until high school? Till you
No.
went away to Merchant Marines?
Then when the war, this is an
Yeah.
easy one. When the war started, just before the war started, my parents, were Catholic.
Yes, of course.
Of course. At least my mother was.
Yeah, your mom. Yeah, not your dad.
And they bought this property.
On Pine?
Well, it was like Hyde Street was here.
Yeah.
And there was Washington Street, and it was on Washington and Hyde.
Okay.
Whereas we were on Hyde and Washington.
Uh-huh.
And they bought that place a month or two before we went to war.
Oh.
And
Did they sell their other place and
they
then bought
didn't
that?